Hey everyone, just taking a break from work. I got some great news that just came in, and that news is I am going to E3. I will actually be covering the event. I'll be on the floor. I'm going to have my camera with me, and I got to thank Angry Joe and Juwario for helping me get to E3 on such short notice. It's actually kind of a funny thing that I finally realized that I'm kind of a media guy now. So I got in on a media pass. I will be covering it as a journalist. I'm going to be visiting. I'm going to try to visit all the major, the Keystone events, the big three, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, and see what they've got to say, see the new products they've got lined up, and I will be very happy to be prowling the floor, collecting some free swag, which I will then show and review to you guys. And also, I'm going to see what the new games are. I'm actually really excited to see what this is. Kind of an exciting time in gaming right now. The major new consoles are established. People are developing for the first time, and I've heard a lot of exciting things about some new games that are coming out. So I will be going to. I will probably be prowling the lesser known. Lesser known sounds bad, but I'll be prowling some of the smaller developers because I really want to see what they're doing. And yes, I will hit the Square Enix booth because I got to see what the next Final Fantasy installment is going to be. Could it possibly be any better than 13? I don't know, but me and Square, we've got a history, so it's gonna be an exciting time, and it's gonna be I've never covered an event of this magnitude before. I've never really covered an event before, so it's gonna be kind of interesting. I don't know how. I think we can shoot on the floor, especially since I'm media, but. Yeah, I think me and Angry Joe are going to be passing the camera off back and forth and kind of getting our own take on it. It'll probably be the three of us cruising around as a group, so we might be kind of hard to miss. Now, I don't think you're going to see me there unless you actually are part of the industry or you're there on a media pass, because it's not open to the public, which I still think it's going to be crazy there. In fact, the day I go there, I got to get my media pass that day, so it might be a zoo. But apparently they've got quite the accommodations for media. So I don't know. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to be discovering E3 for the first time, and you're going to be seeing it through my camera. So I'm really fired up about that. I got a lot of last-minute preparations I got to make. Got to pack. I got to get everything ready. I've got to make a schedule for all the major events so I don't miss anything. I would be remiss in my duties if I missed anything major. I've got to actually get a lot more memory cards for my camera because I imagine I'm shooting pretty much the entire time I'm down there just to get my reactions to everything, seeing all the booths, seeing all the announcements. I'm gonna bring I'm probably gonna bring pen and paper because I don't think I'm going to be able to haul a laptop around, and certainly not going to be able to enter notes in my iPhone, at least not accurate ones. It'll probably autocomplete a bunch of stuff about Final Fantasy or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, as I know more, you will know more. I will try my best to keep the footage as live and as breaking as possible. If anything, I will try to actually upload the footage from the E3 press room, if at all possible, or failing that, my hotel room. I don't know what the wireless is going to be, but as I get it, I will put it up online as fast as possible, so you will not miss a thing. I'm guessing like the G4 guys will put their footage live, but you're going to get it from the Spoony perspective, and that takes a little time. I got to polish that stuff up a little bit. Anyway, E3, going to be exciting. It's going to be in LA, and if you are going to be there, hit me up. Although, again, it's not open to the public, so I don't know. If you are hoping to see me public, I am trying my best to book myself for conventions as much as possible. I actually am booked for SGC. Go to sgconvention.com. Check that out. I will be there. I'm also booked. I'm actually not sure what the website for this one is. I believe it's called DaishoCon. I believe it's in Wisconsin. I will be appearing at DaishoCon, or at least that's the plan. I'm scheduled there. So I'll actually see if there's any new news on that one. I'll put it up on this website. I'll put it up on this web zone. But anyway, I've also got, there's so much. It's actually kind of I should be a lot more stressed out than I am, and maybe the stress will set in later. But a lot of things are coming together, and I've got so many projects that I'm working basically around the clock on all this stuff. And it's kind of funny that I've been playing a lot of games, but those games are actually part of work. So it's actually I've got so many games to play that it's seeming like work now. So I'm actually taking breaks from games now. So I was when I got the message, I was working on Final Fantasy X. I am working on that pretty feverishly because I want to get a part out before I leave for E3. And I have been working on that kind of off and on. I've just had so many things that, Kick-Assia was actually something that really delayed the Final Fantasy thing. So I had that. I really wanted to get Privateer 2 out. I wanted to get a movie review out. Got a ton of movies I wanted to do. And the reason I did Deadly Premonition was not only because I wanted to get kind of a Let's Play out. I heard it was really kind of a funny game, so I wanted to do that. But also, it's because I was doing a major upgrade of how I was doing my video. I've been learning Adobe Premiere. I've been pretty much crash coursing myself when I'm not working. I've been training myself on that, and also I've been upgrading my hardware. So really, the Let's Play of Deadly Premonition was not so much an attempt to rip off a giant bomb or whatever, but really to test out my new equipment to get footage off consoles. So when I upgraded my computer, most of my major video capture ability was kind of nixed because my TV card doesn't work under Windows 7. Everything got really complicated, but yeah. So I was testing out my equipment mainly with Deadly Premonition. The other things I've been doing, I got hung up playing Red Dead Redemption mainly for myself, but I played it pretty much all the way through over the course of like 4 days. And my review of Red Dead Redemption, I liked it a lot. It's kind of funny because my praise is mixed, but I would hardly recommend this one because it feels really authentic and really cool. Like it's really dismissive to call it Grand Theft Horse. The general system is the same, but I think they've done quite a lot to make the experience as authentic of a Western movie as possible. You know, it does really feel like you're a gunslinging badass, and it feels really cool riding a horse around. Even simple things like you might think would be pretty boring, like driving cattle or roping horses, chasing criminals on horseback. It feels really cool. I like the... I actually kind of wish they had done more with the filters. I understand there's actually a cheat code that installs like a grainy filter over everything. Maybe that would have done more. I actually like the music, although I thought they could have gone even more with the Morricone type of music. But I still think it's really, really good. I think if there's major complaints that I had against Red Dead Redemption is that one, it's almost a little too easy, and it's hard to explain because if they had gone the other way, I might have said it was way too hard. And the reason it's easy is because there's an aim assist feature, and so pretty much you get to the point where you're really, really good at the auto assist, where you're getting headshots all over the place. Like if you're aiming in the general direction of a bad guy, you pull the left trigger, your aim zooms in on this guy, and then you're just going to pull up a little bit to get the headshot. So you kind of get into this rhythm where you're like, zoom in, up, headshot, zoom in, up, headshot. And you get to the point where you're getting rushed by like 20 or 30 guys, and you have like an Evans repeater, which has 22 rounds in it. So you're like, ping, 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 and you've just killed like 15 dudes on one magazine. There's these dead bodies like all right around you, and you're just like, I am the god of blood, you know. So it's kind of ridiculous at some point how you become this humanoid typhoon, you know. You're killing like crazy, and at the same time, you need that auto assist because had they not done that, this game would all of a sudden become so much harder because you'd be trying to track down this one little pixel, like, God damn it, like trying to track down these guys. You'd never hit anything. So it's kind of funny where like with it, it's almost too easy, and without it, it would be way too hard. And then maybe you might argue that's bad game design. I don't know. But at the same time, they still keep the challenge, I think, pretty average. I mean, there are some harder missions than others. I would have liked to have seen, I hate to say boss fights, but there are very few set pieces where you actually have to get very creative with your targeting or anything like that. I hate to say bosses because then you start thinking like the Wild Wild West where there's like a giant mechanical spider or something. There's really only one time where you're fighting anything extraordinary, and that's when the boss has like a Gatling gun and you're trying to get him off the Gatling gun. Yeah, maybe if they had done some way where I hate to say like iron sights, where you're looking down iron sights and shooting at things, that might have actually been pretty cool. The only time you ever look down a scope is when you have the sniper rifle. And if you start doing like Iron Sights, all of a sudden you're just doing a first-person shooter. Although that might not have been so bad, like having it be first-person shooter, then jumping on a horse and riding around. I don't know. But again, it's definitely, I think it's a great experience. I think it's definitely a worthy successor to Grand Theft Auto, especially since I was kind of burned out on the Grand Theft Auto experience. I thought this was a really refreshing original take on it. I'd highly recommend it. The other thing I kind of didn't like was, and I'm not sure if anyone's mentioned this before, but I played through this as a good guy. Like I tend to play through most games with like moral choices as a good guy. That's just me. A lot of people tend to play as absolute bastards, and you can play through this game as this bastard, like robbing banks. I never did rob a bank. Apparently, you can do that. I never did like hold up people for money. I didn't really murder anybody that didn't deserve it. Actually, one time I was saving this prostitute from getting cut up. I shot the guy in the back, and I lost like 30 points of honor. I was like, "What? No, he was gonna do this thing." But what's funny is when you're playing the storyline mission, you're a good guy, like unabashedly a good guy. In fact, John Marston is almost too wussy of a good guy. He doesn't really scream like you kind of want to play in this game, like the man with no name, takes no crap, don't tread on me type of guy. Where you kind of wish that John Marston wouldn't say as much as he does. Like, you kind of figure, you almost wish he'd be like the silent protagonist from GTA 3. Like, you kind of want to play this silent, mysterious gunslinger. By the end of this one, you kind of know like, you hear the words John Marston like 8 zillion times in the course of this because he introduces himself to everybody. He walks up to people, like, who are just kind of sitting around in the middle of the desert. He's like, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing out here?" Like, so... John Marston, you kind of figure you'd be playing a character who isn't this nice. And so there's a lot of times when he agrees to help people that he'd have, like, you would never agree to help any of these guys, like this really weird Mexican warlord who is unabashedly like raping women and murdering people and like burning down villages. And he's like, "Hey, gringo, why don't you burn down that hut over there?" And Marston's like, "I don't really want to." He's like, "Just do it or you'll never find that guy. Orale." And so you pick up this fire bottle and he's like, "Just do it, man. Oye." And like, so you're like, "All right." And you throw the bottle and he's like, "I feel really bad about that." He's like, "Don't be so bad. Don't be so mad at me, gringo. Have some tequila." And like, Marston's like, "All right." And he's like, "You'd better tell me where Bill Williamson is or I swear I'll be so mad." And, it's like, yeah, whatever, gringo. And so, like, your main protagonist is like this. He's actually kind of whiny and kind of all talk, where he keeps threatening people and he keeps threatening like hell's gonna rain down if you don't give me what I want, and he never really does it. So it's kind of like John Marston is bipolar. Like even my kind of goody good gunslinger guy, if you messed with him, he'd take you out, and so. Some of these guys, they just outright like slap Marston around and they threaten him and they lie to him and they blackmail him, and so at some point you're like, "Come on, John, do something about this, would you?" Like you kind of like it's kind of funny, like especially if you're playing a villainous character who's robbing banks, being an outlaw. Like I can imagine the confusion you'd be like if you're playing this bastard who would just shoot you as soon as look at you, and then all of a sudden you start playing storyline missions and John Marston's like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, have you seen Bill Williamson? Well, you'd better tell me or I'll just get really mad." I don't know. So if you're playing a good guy, there's kind of a disconnect there between the character you're playing and the storyline missions. I haven't played the multiplayer, and it's not for lack of trying. I just cannot ever seem to get online when most of the other people I have in my friends list are online. I understand there's also kind of a disconnect there where, like, when you're playing in the online lobby, the world seems kind of empty. Again, I haven't experienced that. I would love to play multiplayer against some kind of like siege scenario where you're like defending the Alamo or something like that. I bet that would be really awesome. Maybe some kind of endurance round. I think they do that. What else? Yeah, I liked it. It's actually kind of a funny time where there's so many good games that came out lately that it was kind of a crush to get them all just get my thoughts on them, So like there was Prince of Persia, which I haven't played. I've seen my brother play it. It looks pretty good. It doesn't really look like there's much to differentiate it from the other Prince of Persia games. It definitely looks better than the last Prince of Persia. What's kind of funny was I thought there were serious flaws with the original two Prince of Persias on the PS2, the original one and the one that had all the Godsmack in it with like the Warrior Within and the two princes. I actually really like Two Princes, or Two Thrones, Twin Thrones, I think. I actually thought the Godsmack one was pretty good, although the Godsmack was pretty overbearing. I did like the darker tone to it, but I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, the Prince is emo now." I don't know. Sometimes when I'm playing, when I see the new Prince of Persia played, I keep missing the Godsmack. I don't know why. I've been playing Deadly Premonition. I will have another part of this up soon. I'm trying to figure out. A lot of people have been very helpful in emailing me tips on this one to help mitigate some of the crappier factors. I understand that the driving sequences are horrendous crap, and so apparently there's a radio you can get that will help eliminate a lot of the driving. So I'm working on that. And somebody posted on my Twitter like, "You need to get the infinite machine gun," which is I always get a chuckle out of hearing tweets like that. Like, get the infinite machine gun. This will make this game so much better. Like, it's trying to purport itself to be a real horror game, and the guy's got an infinite machine gun. I don't know. Another game I've been playing, I just started playing Alan Wake. And I've only gotten past the first chapter, and I really like it. I play so many survival horror games that it's actually kind of in tone. Not quite similar. It's a lot less goofy than Deadly Premonition, but there are similarities in that you're kind of in like a Twin Peaks locale, and that's by design, because like the whole thing is, I think, kind of meant to be a Stephen King homage. Like, it's about an author, and most of Stephen King's books are about authors who are, embroiled in like supernatural crap, and most of them take place in a northeastern town. So in that regard, Stephen King's kind of become like an archetype for all of these horror settings. So there's kind of a Stephen King archetype now, where you're kind of in this northeastern area, a wooded area, with an author who's experiencing strange things. And so, like, if you've ever seen In the Mouth of Madness, I'm sure in both Deadly Premonition and Alan Wake, I'm going to see In the Mouth of Madness quotes, because the whole time I'm thinking, like, you see standees of Alan Wake, and then I keep thinking there's going to be an axe murder coming and reading, like, "Have you ever read Sutter Kane?" or "Do you read Sutter Kane?" Something like that. And if you haven't seen In the Mouth of Madness, that's one of my favorite movies. I'd check it out. Alan Wake, from what I've seen, it's an over-the-shoulder type shooter. And I don't know if it's because I'm playing on the harder difficulty. I started playing hard because that's how I roll. I don't know if there's like a hitting reticle, but apparently where you're aiming the flashlight is where you're shooting. And that took a little getting used to. Also, the dodging mechanic. I imagine that's going to become pretty automatic for me, but just getting used to the dodging mechanic was a little strange. I've heard that there's not a lot of variety in the enemies. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It actually is kind of harrowing every time there's bad guys that show up. I posted this on my Twitter. It actually seems to be very knowledgeable about this Stephen King archetype, because, and even the David Lynch style of storytelling, because one of the first things that happens at the end of the first chapter, this is not a spoiler, but kind of the music at the end of the first chapter is Roy Orbison's In Dreams, that starts off with the candy-colored clown they call the Sandman. And if you've ever seen Blue Velvet, which raises memories of the late, great... Oh, fuck, why can't I remember his name now? Dennis Hopper. Jesus, I'm sorry, Mr. Hopper. It's one of my favorite movies. For some reason, the reason I forgot his name was because I was just thinking of The Wolfman. I kept thinking Anthony Hopkins. I was like, that's not his name. Dennis Hopper. Blue Velvet, In Dreams, great movie. Check it out. Very unconventional movie, but I had this little fangirl squee of delight when I heard In Dreams start to kick up. And it's stuff like that is so illogical, but at the same time can really hook you into a story when you're like, these guys know what they're talking about. These guys are coming from the right place when it comes to games like this. And so I'm just refreshed so far that there's not a sewer level. It's actually kind of a unique take on both the telling of a survival horror type of movie or game, and also a lot of games kind of have overbearing monologues, like Final Fantasy X that has a really overbearing monologue. It's kind of a clever way that they've chosen to monologue this game and explain what you're seeing. Where in Alan Wake, it's kind of like it's kind of like you're reading a Stephen King novel, where Alan will kind of narrate, as in a novel, what he's experiencing as he goes along these landscapes. And sometimes he kind of narrates the obvious, like, I saw a yellow crane up ahead. There was a hook swinging. There was a dead body swinging from a hook. When you can clearly see the dead body swinging from a hook on the yellow crane, and you're like, okay, thank you for that, Alan. Penetrating insight. And also, what strikes me as the funniest and fiddliest bit about Alan Wake is. It's almost like custom built for achievement whoring, and to explain that there's like 5 or 6 different things you've got to collect or do through the course of this game. And there's the coffee thermoses you've got to collect, and God help you if you miss one of those. So now I'm scouring like every level for fucking coffee thermoses. Why? I don't know. Apparently just achievement points. In fact, if there's any reason why you're collecting these coffee thermoses except achievement points, I doubt it. There's manuscript pages, which I know are achievement points, but the manuscript pages are kind of redundant because they're kind of like just repeats of the narration you just heard. They're a little better than that, but you're collecting those. You're knocking over cans of pyramids. You're watching all the TV shows. You're listening to the radio shows. That's 5. You're reading signs, which is 6. It tracks these things. I was looking at the achievement lists. It's like read all the signs, collect all the coffee mugs, listen to all the radio shows. So there's like 6 different things you're really paranoid about making sure you've got, and I'm pretty sure I wasn't even paying attention to see if there were any pyramids of cans or signs I had to read. I didn't even check those. I was looking for the manuscript pages and the coffee mugs. Probably missed those already. Actually, looking at the manuscripts, I think I got all the ones in Chapter 1, but those are pretty obvious. Most of them glow, so they're kind of hard to miss. Yeah, the controls in Alan Wake take a little getting used to, but I wouldn't call them bad. I like it, and I imagine this is going to be a pretty short game from the way I played it. Again, I should have played it all the way through before really reviewing it. But I'm just giving my initial impressions. I really like it. It's definitely worth at least a rental. Jeez, I can't remember if there were any games that came out this week. I haven't been out all day today. I've been working on Final Fantasy X. I should get back to that. Yeah, the other big thing, I have so many projects I got to do. I'm working on 2 board game reviews, not like board games, but I tweeted this a while back where I was going to challenge my brother to War of the Ring. I'm still working on getting that done. I've actually got the game set up in the other room over there. That might actually be kind of a long video, so I'm going to warn you, like probably the first hour of that is going to be me teaching the rules to War of the Ring, because it's kind of a complicated war game, especially since we're playing with the expansion. The expansion doesn't add a whole lot, but it does add some. It's not like it changes everything. It adds a bunch of new characters, so you got to explain what all the characters do. So I'm working on War of the Ring. This Friday, I'm actually working on a video I promised a long time ago, which was a playthrough of the Battlestar Galactica board game. I'm trying to get on like at least 4 people, counting me, and I'm trying to work out how I'm going to get that shot, both of the board game things, because it's going to be kind of awkward. Like if I'm holding the camera, I can't play the game, or at least not easily. You won't see me playing the game. So I might have to do a thing where I have it on a tripod and you're just kind of watching from a distance. You may not be able to read the cards or see in detail what exactly is going on, but I'll work on that. But yeah, this Friday, I will probably try to work on getting that review shot. It's going to be a bunch of people you don't know. Pardon me. It's not going to be like all the people from Channel Awesome or like that. It's going to be some of my friends I play with on Friday. So don't be surprised if you see a table full of guys you don't know. And Deadliest Character. I know a lot of people are really excited about the Deadliest Character. I am too. This is going to be a great idea if I can ever get it done. Unfortunately, it's taking a lot longer than I thought, just because I have to coordinate at least 3 different people, 4 counting me. I can confirm that James Rolfe has already shot and has sent me the footage for his scientific analysis of Mechagodzilla, because he did a Godzilla-thon marathon, so he's by far one of the most knowledgeable people in the world on Mechagodzilla. I'm also getting Linkara to shoot footage of his analysis of the Megazord and the Power Rangers. I'm also, there was some fans who were very generously, one in particular who is doing the majority of the work, rendering the battle between the Megazord and Mechagodzilla. And you saw some of the footage in the promo that I put up, and it was excellent. And he's apparently says he can do even better than that with like sound effects, music, different angles, different cuts, doing all this neat stuff. So I'm really excited to see what he comes up with. So I'm still waiting on those guys, but there's no rush on that one. As soon as they can get it done, I'll be perfectly happy. Then I got to do the voiceovers, edit it together. Should be great. It's going to be a great show, and I've already got the next one planned. I don't have the expert slotted in for the next one, but I'm going to have that as a little teaser at the end of the first episode, so not to look too far ahead. I've also got, I've got 2 game reviews planned and a new series of, I remember when I mentioned Ultima 9? I'm planning a series based on the Ultima, on the Ultima series, where I'm kind of reviewing a lot of the games back there, so I've got all that planned, got so much to shoot, got so much to write, and I'm going to get back to it. And I got all that on top of E3. So, I'm busy, but until then, I'll see you guys around, and thanks for supporting the site, and thanks for supporting Kick-Ass Yeah. See you later, everyone.